Our third entry in the winter season catalog. I'm interested. I don't have a strong reason for why I picked it outside of anime original, and they're just really fun to do because nobody really knows what's going on, so it's fun for discussion purposes. Also Studio Bones, and I believe the last original they did was Skate, and that shit was apparently really good. I never watched it, but apparently it was really good and a lot of people liked it. So I'm just gonna assume they got a good track record and they got something. Also, I think this is supposed to like represent like a 10th or 15th like anniversary project or something for them, or I could have the year wrong, but something like that. So that's kind of a big deal, and I feel like they're not gonna want to just put together some piece of crap, right? I have about zero idea what it's about. I think we play with like artificial stuff, so like AIs or androids and stuff within it. And then we're probably gonna deal with like them kind of going off, unhinged a little bit over time, or maybe they already are at the beginning or something. And I believe that's kind of the route they'll probably try and head. But I got nothing else. I watched the trailer, don't remember anything from the trailer. I know there's two main female leads, I believe, because they're both in the PV. But that's really all I got. I really don't have much else. I don't know if a lot of people are even going to be interested in this. I don't know if it's going to be good. We don't have a track record to go off of, but I'm going to take a shot. Usually I'm pretty good at like watching trailers or just like reading about these things and then like guessing if it's going to be something that's like really, really popular. I mean, I even remember back before I was doing the channel when I was going through, I believe it was summer of 22, when Licorice Recoil came out, and I believe Engage Kiss also came out. So it was like two A1 Picture anime originals at the time, and I was pretty sold on the fact that Engage Kiss probably wasn't going to be very good, but the other one would be. And I thought that Licorice Recoil could be like really special, just from like something was selling me from the few things that I saw, and it ended up turning out to be something that was really, really special. And I've had a lot of those experiences of recent too, where I've thought that a show would actually be extremely good just from like the little that I see or the things that I know. Bocchi the Rock was another one that I was pretty high on before going into the season for no real reason besides just like this general gut feeling that I got, and it ended up turning out to be just like that. So I'm typically pretty good at this. Do I think this is going to be like a thing that everyone rates like a 9 or something? No, I really don't. But I also don't think it's gonna be something that everybody's like, oh, this was just kind of average. I think it'll be a positive experience. I think I'll come away and I'll be like, this was pretty good. Maybe not my favorite thing or the best thing ever, but I think it'll be an interesting enough thing to talk about, and it'll be enjoyable and visually appealing to the point that I kind of want to be here. And I hope that's the case. And if it is, I hope a bunch of other people can kind of find this video through it who are also kind of interested, because it might be one of those shows that kind of go on, I guess, used for like reactions and stuff, because not too many people are going to look at it as something to check out, because anime originals typically aren't something that people know enough to really check out, because of course, how could they wouldn't know. So we're just going to take that shot, and I hope that you guys can all kind of enjoy this, and I hope that I enjoy it too, and I hope that we just have something that's really fun and intriguing for us to kind of talk about and watch. I got zero clue who's on production for this. So I don't know if we're gonna have copyright issues or anything, so we'll deal with that when we come to that. But right now we should just be good, and we're just gonna go with it. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, the like and subscribe do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion, leave me comments for this episode or series. Let's get going. Unleash the bird in the sky. Are we racing it? I guess not. This would be like a fire title drop, Birds flies by. Look how you start a movie. Middle of the Mars, alright. I was gonna say the desert. The window cleaners. Okay, yeah, so robot things. Okay, they kinda did it. Not necessarily what I thought. God, they're lifeless. No. They don't have any life in them. This ain't no Vivi. These things are straight programmed. This is the guy from Trigun. Yeah, you're gonna pull some sketch shit. They're gonna let you, but you're gonna pull some shit. Damn. Sarah Fitzgerald. Our sexiest robot. God, bro. her character design is everything to me. Just look at her. Ooh, what's the other girl's name? What the hell? We got the 9 out.
誰が風だって。あそこに転がってるのはマリクじゃないのか。
マリク。ああ、マリク。なんてこった風で死んじまうなんて。
The worst actor. I mean, seriously, he really died in the cold.
誰だ
Awesome. If you're ever faced with a person who like has a whole bunch of guns pointed at him and he's just sitting there laughing at you, you better fucking run.
Hi.
My bad, my bad.
まだ新人なの。亡くなってるの？
今朝までは確かここに。
私のを使って。
いけないよ。君が機能停止してしまう。そうなったら廃棄処分だ。
So these are the life things. These are like our batteries. They think it's just a joke. They think it's a fucking joke. These motherfuckers about to die. They're not gonna function no more.
今日中にネクタルを打たないと。
大丈夫。どこかにあるはずだから。
So is it a daily thing?
そういやケビンは。
The boy Kevin.
いいことでもあったのか。ほら。
ネクタルは高値で売れるんだよ。
Gotcha.
何しろ
Okay.
人間様が打つとこの世の天国を体験できるんだと。
So they get like high as fuck.
知らないぞ。
彼女は違うと思う。根拠を述べよ。まあ、なんとなくなんですけど。話にならない。一緒にいたおっさんは？ネクタルの摂取ユニットは確認できなかったし。見ただけじゃわからない。あんたも同じでしょ？まあね。ピー。君はもう少しさらに張り付いて確証をつかむこと。行動はそれからピー。おお。自覚ある？多分。ラジャ。
So she's got a bit of personality. Some of the others just clearly don't. But some of them do. I feel like I thought the nectar was the thing that makes them completely function, though, or is that what's allowing them to have like? Oh, oh, they're coming for you. What the fuck are you? Rest easy, Sarah. Oh yeah, she would have guards. Oh my god. The bird is the eye in the sky here. Look at you knowing all the right fucking places to go. Oh my god! Yeah, I kind of just that. Murder. Yeah. I know who it is.
返して。ネクタルを返してください。
知らねえよ。何言ってんだよ。
Please, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh my god. Okay, no, so it's straight life force. You kill them. I wonder if they gotta be aware of the consequences here. And then we just pick them up like this? Holy fuck. Just calling the garbage truck. That's insane.
お待たせ。誰でしたっけ？
The bird.
あ、 中の人の鳥に中の人がいるなんて。
I thought I was talking to a bird.
ああ、いやー、まさかあの鳥に中の人がいる
Yeah,
なん
we
て。
are Jew.
あ
Oh my god.
いやー、まさか中の人。
メモリ壊れてんのかい。
私はナオミ・オルトマン。はじめまして。
ナオミ
あなた様のサポートをしております。
それはご丁寧に。私は。
あ、知ってる。チャーハン大盛りにホイコーローと。
She really likes her fucking chocolate, dude. This bitch eats a lot. My god.
お鳥様は。
今かられた。
あ、それは。
Don't worry, she's got
お
more.
悔やみ申し上げます。
恐れ入ります。
Okay, I love the dynamic.
君には残念だけど、サラ・フィッツジェラルドはネクタルを打っていた。彼女はネアン、そして十中八九インモータルナインの一人、バイオラ・キーン。またの名を、
煉獄のバイオラ。
Okay. I gotta write some of those shit down. I am not. I'm not gonna remember half of it. Don't worry, we'll get it. We'll get it by the end.
教えたはず。そうです。ああ、あなたがその美しい体を怪我して、いえ、体を張ってまで手に入れた情報だというのに。ネクタルを横から全部奪われてしまったという大集体。
Damn.
それはお気の毒様。でも私には関係ないわ。
奪ったのは例の赤いやつです。
Now we're interested.
我らアルターの旧敵。
Damn.
赤いグラディエーターですよ。
Alright.
私のところにも来たわ。
Who the fuck is he?
シルビアはあなたが情報を漏らしたと疑っておいでです
彼女が
I think a lot of people do.
シルビアには力説して変わったこと。誰か見知らぬ者が近づいてきたとか。
Ah. You approached her. Hold up. I thought you were just like sorry she was watching you.
あんた食べないの？
これでいい。
Hmm.
今夜は付き合ってくれない？
I don't really want to. Ah, and then you go to a bridge, of course.
こちらに来たの。昔の本当の自分を全部橋の向こうに捨てて、
Oh.
まっさらの新しい自分になって。
本当の自分って何でしょうね。
That's what you're gonna have to find.
人を殺せない。
私たちは規格外なの。
Hmm.
あなたも同族なんでしょう。
Have an old-fashioned standoff. Oh, fuck. I can't kill you, but I know someone who can. Into the void.
あんたの擬態能力を忘れてたわ。
Okay, so you're not. Gotcha,
私を襲った
gotcha.
のも
Oh, it was. Never mind.
黄泉のジャロン。
殺すはずないでしょう。寸止め。
Just wanted to give you a little bit of a scare.
だってあなたは迷ってた。可愛いあの子をその手でやれたのですか？
やれたわ。
怪しいもんだ。だから私が可愛い。
ルージュは赤いやつじゃなかった。あの子は関係なかった。
どうでしょう。奴はあなたの名前を知ってた。
ん
バイオラ。まあ大方心理部のエージェント犬だったんだろうからさ。始末して当然でしょうが。
Hmm. Oh. So it was. I certainly didn't. No, you did.
私はここまで。先ほどあなたはやれるとおっしゃった。ここ
So go ahead.
さあ、It's showtime!
Oh,
殺
fuck.
す前に名前を聞かせて。
メタル、ルージュ。
Okay, so just everyone can fucking do this then, alright. Oh, this was like some special shit. Oh, yours is cool. Ah. You know, she's a lot more capable than I thought she was gonna end up being, but I guess Given her status, this makes plenty sense. You gotta buy some time. At least she dragged us out here, you know? Analyze it quick, go. Alright. About that. What are you gonna do? We either gotta run or you're gonna have some fucking insane shit you're gonna pull out. Oh, that was simple. Okay. You should just say, I'm gonna float over here and pierce you real quick. So it just fucks up her suit. Oh, what did we take? Her core? No reward. She's eating like 12 different chocolate bars this episode.
次はどこ？もう決まってる。
A really fun opener, huh? Who would have thought, right? I don't think it's exactly as I was really expecting the story and the way of things to kind of play out throughout at least the first episode and introducing us here. But I think that there was plenty presented that I took away and kind of enjoyed, and I really liked. So plenty that I liked, some things that I thought were just okay, and a couple things that I didn't necessarily like. And I guess we can start with those because they're not things that are like the worst, I guess. One would just be, we're in a scenario within this world, right? And what they're trying to present in this episode is we are going to throw you into a world where characters aren't just like necessarily meeting for the first time. And while our main two here are kind of meeting face to face for the first time, we're kind of being thrown in a world where Rouge has kind of already done some stuff before in the past, and we throw a lot of references towards names and different people and different like organizations and things, right? All get kind of brought up. You know, this isn't the first time that we met, like the first time we met was in the rain or whatever, right? Like bringing up things like that, past situations and all the stuff that has occurred before that us as the viewer don't necessarily see or don't actually know about, which is a fun strategy to kind of go into a show with, right? And direct you going on, because you're already being thrown in the middle of this world, and rather than sitting there and throwing up like walls of text and trying to explain things in like boring ways, we can kind of just progress day to day, leave slight mentions to them, and then maybe like show the references, or we can explore that later down the line. But the issue with, I guess for me, where that comes is the idea of we'll explore this later down the line. If you don't know who these people are, the situations and stuff, it leaves a lot for you to just be like, what are they talking about, right? And they throw a lot of that stuff at you to the point that you don't necessarily know everything that they're getting at and who they're talking about or the situation or anything. And maybe that's just me. Maybe it entirely could be, but I don't believe so. I believe the way that they presented it makes it so it is a little bit confusing at that point. And as somebody who just didn't write down any of the things and, you know, can't remember all the specific names and situations and stuff that they brought up, when those things get referenced later in the future, I find it hard to believe I'm actually going to remember that they occurred. So this is something where I'm going to have to like kind of keep track of if we're going to follow along in this world where these previous situations and things have kind of gone about. So it leaves a little bit of like me being, I guess, unhappy with that presentation of it. But for the most part, I think that's a perfectly fine way to do it. As long as the things that they dropped this episode weren't like the most massive things that like we really need to know, and we can just kind of keep like a single name or thing in mind. And maybe there isn't as much as I'm like really making it out to be right now, and there's a lot less that was actually presented and shown to us, and then I can kind of go back and you know, retrace steps a lot easier than I'm actually expecting to, and it's just because I'm trying to process all of it at once. But when I break it down, it might be more simple, so we'll have to wait and see and kind of go from there. The only other thing I'll say that I didn't like is I guess, I don't know, is we're very gray within the show. Like, we're very dark. We're not, for a city that kind of goes off like just the vibes that you get like from being within it and all these different establishments and stuff that they're kind of showcasing us being in, and then also like the whole situations where everybody kind of does their transformations and whatever, right? You would expect things to be a little bit more vibrant, or at least have like a little bit more coloring to them and actually be like really visually appealing, where a lot of the backgrounds and stuff aren't necessarily like that. And I know we're thrown in the middle of fucking Mars or whatever, but it's like, it's still, I would expect a little bit more out of that aspect, and I don't think that we got that, which is a bit disappointing. But on the complete other end of it, while maybe the coloring and everything isn't up to my standards or my hopes, the animation and everything is pretty well done. So there's no real complaints in that. I just wish it was a little bit more vibrant with what we were getting, and really allowing some things to pop and be brought to life. But that's okay. I mean, even the characters, like even when they got colors on them, they're still a little bit more muted than I would like. But it is all personal preference, I guess, at the end of the day. So it isn't that big a deal. But for the most part, I enjoyed basically everything else that was presented to us. I thought that the interactions we got between the humans and the androids and stuff were pretty interesting. Just seeing like the day-to-day lives and how they kind of treat each other, or whatever is kind of going on between them, or how it's viewed. You know, we literally had one of them die and he just gets kind of picked up on the side of the road almost by this big thing, and it's like you're just throwing out the trash. It's just like another day, right? It's a interesting way for them to just kind of throw you in that world and have to see this and actually be just treated like it is the norm, and you know, you should kind of expect these things. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool, and I kind of wish we got a little bit more focus, but it's one of those things I think you just need to let the show develop a little bit more, and we'll kind of understand things a lot more, and you'll probably get the things that I want. And it's not, I guess, the right way for me to go about and like expect that I'm gonna have all these things right now, especially because the show has presented itself in a way that it's like we're not doing that strategy, right? We're going a little bit of a different direction in the way that we're kind of exploring the world, and I think that that's something that I'll just have to end up waiting on, unless they abandon that completely and they don't pay too much of attention, because I guess our main characters aren't the most like, no, they kind of are. I don't know. We'll end up seeing, I guess, when it comes to it. It's insane the amount of things I like wasn't picking up on or realizing or whatever just at the beginning. Like you see here, I thought that we were just dropping this random bird for no reason. Oh no, it's a camera, and you literally see the character that's like kind of involved, right? Things that I just don't process all at once, but it kind of gets explored there. We get to see that we're on Mars. I think that's pretty cool. And then we get to see our, what you'd assume to be the main villain that we're going to kind of be going against here, or maybe he's not, though. You know, sometimes there is like a bigger one. He's just kind of in between, but I love him a lot, actually. I think that he's really fun. I love just having somebody who's beyond crazy in a way. They laugh off everything. They think everything's a joke. They're so over the top. I mean, Bird literally just pulls out a deck of cards in the middle of, you know, everyone confronting him, talking about his boy dying of a cold and everything. Like, I don't know. He's really, really fun. I believe he was given a name, but I don't remember what they said. So we'll just kind of move on from there. And then we get introduced to Sarah and Rouge here, where we end up getting to see their connection in a way. So it appears Rouge is, this is also what we don't know because we're not kind of explained any of this stuff, but it appears Rouge is either working independently or hired through organization or somebody to basically end up tracking down these other people, the people of the Invincible Nine, right? So you're assuming that Rouge herself is probably employed through like government or somebody else, because it seems as though that's almost what they're trying to go after for whatever the reason is. Now, is it just these 9, or are there more? These are where I start having like questions and didn't understand like the language and terming and stuff that they were kind of using at the time. This is what we'll have to kind of explore and see a little bit further into, because we make reference to a lot of different members, right? We end up seeing 2 of them specifically here. We also see Rouge as another one, and then we end up getting reference to 2 other ones that she ended up killing before. So are all these people the only people who actually have the ability to become, what are they calling them, like the neons or whatever, right? Are the people who have, or who are that, I guess, or is that the word that they were using for the android? See, this is where I'll have to go back, and when I edit, I'll probably be able to pick up on and remember that specifically. Regardless, a bunch of people can seemingly have these transformations and do whatever it is, you know, to gain these extra abilities in their metallic or armor and whatever. So Rouge, in our example here, is you're assuming somebody on the outside, and she's not one of these members, which means that there can be a variety of other people, and it doesn't just necessarily have to be the Invincible 9 that we have. So when we end up getting over here, and Viola or Sarah, whatever I guess we kind of want to call her in the situation, ends up being one of them, is her reference to all the other members and the other things that we end up seeing. meaning that we've already killed 2 of them, and then we only have, now with Sarah included, I guess, we only have 6 others to go. And then we also do know, I'm assuming, the other one with our other villain who was kind of introduced to us, seemingly being one of them as well. So we're assuming at that point that you'd only end up having 5 that we have to at least discover, and he'll probably be the most difficult one for us to take out. Now, if that's not the case, and we're just killing a bunch of these random other people, then we still might have 8 more. And who even knows the power level, just because they get these titles and stuff, is the other buddy even 1? We don't know. So there's like a bunch of things that I guess we can kind of go into, or we can just use kind of logic to try and deduce exactly the situation that we're into here. I'm assuming a lot of people have these abilities, not necessarily just the people who are the 9. Rouge isn't one of them, would be my guess, and my guess would be that she has actually killed 2 of them already, and then we just got introduced to basically another 2, and the third one that she ended up just killing, I guess, this time as well, meaning that there's only 4 more that we haven't actually been introduced to, and then we end up seeing, I think, 1 or 2 of them in the OP that plays at the end. So I'm assuming we kind of have all that established, that we're going to run into all of them throughout here, have a 1 season thing that we're going to run over 12 or 13 episodes, and then we're going to go through her journey to ultimately end up going and killing all of them to kind of save everyone for whatever the purpose. It seems as though all the nectar, I would assume, in the situation is being kind of bought up or being stolen or being whatever, and being kind of occupied by this group of people here, and the government probably, or whoever it is that is kind of contracting Rouge in the situation, is trying to stop that so that everybody else still has access to it, and then we don't have to have a bunch of other bad things go down, I guess, at some other point in the future. That would be my assumption into exactly how things are starting to play out. I like this too, where he gets kind of like everybody holding, you know, he's at gunpoint here, and then we get to see this where you don't understand exactly what it is at first and what he's doing. I thought that like bro was just like teleporting his way out, or he was doing whatever, but it seems as though this is the transformation that we end up getting to see, and then he performs that at this moment. We get to see what he actually transforms into later on, but we get to see that that's essentially what he ended up doing in this moment. Now it's weird because he has all of the nectar and stuff behind him here, but then he talks about later how he was unable to actually secure it. So that's where I'm kind of a little bit off. I don't know, maybe he just had to kind of flee the scene and he ended up not getting anything. I don't actually have any clue. I'm also assuming that the people themselves who are the androids in this situation are harder to spot, or are extremely hard to spot and actually tell the difference between who's human, who's not, because Rouge in this situation, we end up seeing later, is able to have like the port or whatever to inject herself, while she doesn't necessarily look the same as like these other characters in the situation, and having all like the lines and the stuff constructed on her face. So it's not as easy at first sight, which is, I think, a thing that her and Sarah talk about later in the episode when they kind of come face to face, is exactly how, you know, you don't seem like you were this person or you're not this person or whatever, but it's like you can't be so sure, because you literally just can't be, because everybody can kind of look and appear themselves different. While some people in these situations, I mean, maybe because of the way that they're drawing the humans or the other men here in the situation to be a little bit more, I don't know the right word, but like they just have a different shape and like design to them in a way that makes them look, I guess, a little bit less artificial. And I think that that could make sense if we're just going to go there. But I think just the playing around the idea of like being able to be deceived by who exactly is what, and not being able to fully understand, you know, until you can catch somebody actually, you know, put in the nectar within them, or having seeing that port or whatever it is, I think is interesting. We get to see Rouge doing it here. I'm assuming this is just also like a function to kind of just keep them alive. That's the reasons as to why later on she ends up talking about how she only needs to eat the chocolate. It's because she can have something that's like sweet. She still has all these like functions as a human, but she doesn't need to like properly eat and do these things because her body runs differently, specifically off of this, would kind of be my assumption here. We see the bird kind of come into picture here, and then Rouge ends up appearing here, which seems that we're going to be trying to take her out, or at least trying to force her into a situation where she forces herself to transform, and we can get confirmation of what we're doing. She ends up not properly doing that, which causes us to actually not be so certain exactly who or what she is. And then the bird gets taken out from our boy, so she ends up losing her little helper here, which is unfortunate, but it seems like he was on the case the entire time trying to figure out exactly what was going on. This is just horrifying, having to see bro panic and scream, you know, for wanting to actually get his nectar and not being able to, and nobody wants to give it to him because these guys ended up just stealing it like pieces of shit. And then we get to see him just being picked up like he's fucking garbage off the side of the road after he ends up dying, which is unreal. We get our first meeting between our two main characters, which I love, and I think that they have great chemistry and just are really interesting characters themselves, because of, I guess, their personalities themselves, and the way that they're just presented I really like. I also thought Rouge was like an elf or something. Even though they shouldn't be in this this universe, I would assume, but because just the I'm assuming that's like a hair clip or something on her, and for whatever reason, it just makes her ear look a little bit off. I do like these two a lot though, and I think that they play off of each other extremely well. And I think Rouge is like something, I don't know what it is, something about like the characters who are kind of like spacey and not all there like her, I think are so great sometimes, and she's really fun. And I also think that both of their designs and everything that goes along with them has been fantastic. I love the confession scene here between the two, which I think is really great. And they're just kind of cooking up their plan, basically all the things that have kind of happened, what exactly they need to do. She needs him to kind of protect her, I'm assuming, in this moment, and keeping promises and, you know, being on the lookout. And he's trying to let her know, like, yo, you got to be wary of all these people around you, such as her. Does anybody else come into contact with you? Which is where she ends up starting to see, like, oh shit, it might actually be this person, which is where we get to drag her later on. We're just panic here. It's really cute. And I really like, I don't know if she was like panicking because she saw the close-up shot where she was like injecting herself, so she was like, oh fuck, you're right, she actually is, or if she was just panicking because they messed up and they ended up getting her caught on TV, like, and you know, that's something where she's trying to like lurk in the shadows and not actually get caught. I have actually no idea. And then we get our showdown here. We end up figuring out that Buddy also has a mimic ability, so he can literally turn into or appear as something else entirely, so he doesn't actually have to just appear himself. So that's cool as well. But we figured out that he also has his own here, where he ends up at this point forcing Rouge into action, which I think creates a very fun sequence as he ends up running away and then forcing Sarah into fighting here, which is a bit unfortunate. The entire sequence for here I think is pretty interesting. The only thing I didn't necessarily like is the final blow of killing her is so, like, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. But I think that that's understandable because they were trying to purposely have Rouge be held off here. So now we can be able to go in and like find exactly like what it is that her, or analyze exactly what her abilities and everything kind of do, which ultimately allows us to like find like weak spots or be able to go in and, you know, evade whatever exactly that she's doing. So it gives us the upper hand by having these two work together, which I think is really great. It just made for the moment to be a little bit like less interesting than the intensity that they were building up throughout the entire fight, which I thought was great leading up to that point. Ultimately, she like basically pulls this out of her, which it seems like, and she gets, I'm assuming this is like her core or something, forces her to not be able to continuously transform or do this, and then we end up kind of walking off with it, where I'm assuming whoever that she is hired by, or even if she is working on her own, has to store this so that nobody else can kind of gain that ability. That would be the assumption that I think I would be under. Like, as a reward, we kind of give her chocolate. And then we head off towards our next journey. We get the OP at the end, which I'm not going to go too much into because I just think it's more fun being not spoiled by the things that are to come. That's all I kind of got. I piece together as much as I kind of can, but at the same time, there's plenty that's a little bit difficult to piece together because just the way that it was presented. And maybe you were able to get a ton more out of it than I was, or maybe, you know, I'll be able to get a ton more out of it and be able to fully understand like the terms and the names and, you know, start, you know, separating them and actually piecing things together as we kind of go along after I go back into like the edit, and maybe if I like properly sit down and try and like write some stuff just so I can kind of remember, and maybe those are the routes that we're going to end up having to take. But I think it is a really good start for us to go. It's not the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. It's not the most like intriguing world and everything that was kind of set up here, but it definitely seems like a fun one that does have potential, and it just depends on the way that they continuously drive the story forward. That's kind of how I'm feeling. So I'm excited, I guess, to kind of get into more and figure out exactly what they have in store for us here. We'll likely keep going with this just because I don't really care too much. But if literally nobody is interested or watching these or whatever, then we'll probably not continue with them just because it's almost like a waste of time to do. That's just kind of how I'm feeling. But then I'll just probably watch it on my own. But I would like to continue regardless. And I think that we end up will, unless things start going really south over the next couple episodes, which has happened plenty of other times before, where the first one kind of catches me and the other ones just don't, to the point that I don't want to watch it anymore. So we'll just go from there and we'll kind of see. But I enjoyed the start and I'm excited for more. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to me on to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel, leave comments with this series. I will be back next week for episode 2. You guys have a good one. Peace.